China just changed the rules for some cell and gene therapies. And if you read the laziest version of the story, you will think Beijing basically created a shortcut to commercialize advanced therapies without the normal drug path. That is not quite wrong. It is also way too sloppy to be useful. This is a Chinese biotech catalyst explainer on Order 818, the new framework that took effect on May 1, 2026. The point here is not policy tourism. The point is to explain what changed, what did not, why global biotech should care, what people are missing, what could still fail, and how to read the next China cell therapy headline without sounding confused. Start with the official frame. In its April 30, 2026 implementation notice, China's National Health Commission, together with the National Disease Control Administration, says the new pathway is meant to work alongside China's drug and medical device laws, not replace them. That distinction matters immediately. This is not everything can now skip NMPA. This is a dual-track system where developers may choose a biomedical technology path or a drug or device path, depending on what the therapy actually is. The next question is, who gets in? The NHC Q&A says only technologies already placed on the filing guidance list and meeting one of two conditions can even enter the clinical translation approval scope. One, they are highly personalized, and China does not already have an approved same-mechanism drug or even a confirmatory trial already started. Two, they are for rare diseases, and again, China does not already have an approved same-mechanism drug or confirmatory trial for that indication. That is a much narrower statement than China opened a shortcut for CGT. And there is another limit people should stop skipping. The same NHC material says that if something fits under medical device regulation, it should follow device rules instead. So this is not a universal alternate superhighway. It is a bounded lane for a subset of biomedical new technologies, especially the ones that are hard to standardize as classic mass-market products. That is why cell and gene therapy people care. Some advanced therapies fit awkwardly into the old all roads lead to drug approval model, especially when they are highly individualized, tightly linked to hospital infrastructure, or hard to scale like a standardized pill or vial. The practical implication is that China is trying to build a hospital-centered translation route for certain therapies that may not behave like normal pharmaceutical products. Now for the catch. A hospital-centered path is not the same thing as broad global proof. It may be faster for some kinds of clinical translation inside China. It may generate real revenue through hospital-based fee collection. It may even look commercially meaningful on the ground. But that still does not automatically answer whether the therapy is reproducible across centers, portable across geographies, or ready for a classic global drug launch. That distinction gets very important for Western dealmakers. A recent Morgan Lewis analysis points out the obvious but under-discussed problem. Many licensing agreements are built around milestones like IND, NDA, and NMPA approval. But if a Chinese company can start generating hospital-based commercial revenue under Order 818 without a classic NDA event, then your milestone language, royalty definitions, and even the meaning of commercialization may be misaligned from day one. That is not a small legal footnote. That is money. There is also a data and rights problem. That same cross-border analysis warns that Order 818 depends on deep hospital enterprise collaboration, which can trigger China's human genetic resources and export control rules. In plain English, even if the science is exciting, not every dataset, process package, or patient-derived insight automatically travels cleanly to overseas affiliates or acquirers. So if you are a global pharma company, do not confuse China-proof exists with global diligence is easy. The official Chinese documents also make something else very clear. This is not a light-touch, anything-goes experiment. The implementation notice and Q&A keep hammering data authenticity, completeness, traceability, ethics review, and punishment for fraud. There is even priority review language for life-threatening diseases without effective treatment, and for public health emergencies. So yes, this framework is pro-innovation. It is also trying to be visibly anti-chaos. Here is what I think the West may still be missing. Order 818 is not just a domestic regulatory tweak. It is a commercialization design choice. China is effectively asking whether some advanced therapies should be judged first as hospital-anchored biomedical technologies rather than forced immediately into the same packaging logic as scalable mass-market drugs. If that works, it could keep more value creation, more proof generation, and more negotiating leverage inside China before a global licensing deal ever gets signed. What could still fail? Plenty. The eligible bucket may end up narrower than enthusiasts hope. Hospital execution quality may vary. Repeatability across centers may become the real bottleneck. Cross-border buyers may discount data they cannot easily transfer or operationalize. And if the line between biomedical technology and drug starts getting stretched too aggressively, regulators can tighten interpretation later. A new path is not the same thing as a settled category. So here is the filter I would actually use. First, ask which path the therapy is on. Classic drug path or Order 818 translation path. Second, ask whether the therapy really fits the personalization or rare disease criteria, or whether people are hand-waving. Third, ask whether another center can reproduce the process and outcome, because one excellent hospital is not the same as a transferable platform. Fourth, ask what exactly can move globally: the asset, the data, the revenue, or just the story. My opinionated wrap-up is this. Order 818 is real, important, and strategically smart, but the mistake is to hear new path and mentally translate that into China solved cell therapy commercialization. What China did is more interesting than that. It built a dual-track experiment. The next job for viewers is to read each company through the right lane, not through one lazy headline.